Welcome to season 1 of The Search, where we look for the internet's next viral sensation and give them $1 million. Well, welcome back to another episode where we interview one of the finalists for The Search, brought to you by CreatorDAO. We're here with Qxir. It's an honor to see you. Thanks for joining us. I know you are across the pond there in Ireland, so how are you today?
I'm pretty good, sir. Thank you.
That's great. Well, first of all, congratulations. I know it's been an exciting few weeks. I'm curious to hear, how did you come across this contest?
So I got an email, I believe, from somebody at the CreatorDAO team. It might have even been Michael himself. And my email is, if it gets seen, it gets seen. And if it doesn't, it probably won't, But something about that email, I guess it just caught my eye. And I was like, a contest? What harm will it be if I enter? So I entered, and here I am couple of months later, and I'm in the finals. It's crazy.
How long ago did you publish your first YouTube video, Q?
About 5 years ago, I think.
Wow.
It was. I was in college. I was doing computer science, IT, and I just kind of did it on a whim. It was one of those things where I hadn't really put a lot of thought into it. I'd been watching kind of similar channels to what I do, where they, kind of tell crazy or bizarre stories. And at that time, there was kind of a trend where people would kind of animate or illustrate what they were talking about. But it was largely done in like MS Paint, very crude stuff. Well, I have like Photoshop, and I've got like a little bit of experience in kind of like doodling stuff. So I was like, I could probably do what these guys are doing. I have plenty of stories as well, because I love that stuff. I'd go on Wikipedia and, just click on the links, just learning about it, go down a huge rabbit hole, just keep on clicking links till I forgot about like what I had, began looking for in the first place. Yeah. So I was like, hey, let me try this. And then with the drawing is like, I can kind of like do a step up from like what's happening like right now, like the kind of the trends, because I've got like a little bit of talent at this, I guess I would say. Don't want to be too humble on this, but so I started it up, and just kind of nothing really happened at the start, but it didn't really matter to me, because I was just kind of doing it. Terrible conditions, the research was terrible, the drawings were terrible. They've gotten better. The writing was terrible, the audio was terrible, everything about it was terrible. But it didn't matter, because all that really matters is that you do it and you get better. And that's 5 years later, here I am, and I'm still gonna get better.
That's right. Do you do it because of it being a career? Do you do it because you love it? Or what keeps you creating videos day in and day out?
Well, now it's been a career for me for the past 3 years. But when I started, there was years where, I wasn't really making money on this at all, or even getting views at one point. Like when I first started, if a video got like a couple of 100 views, I'd be like, ooh, this video is doing pretty good, It didn't really matter to me at the time. It was just more so the fact of just doing it and kind of gaining the skills. Because like I said, when I first started, everything was just terrible. Everything was awful. I was just terrible at everything, because I had very little experience. Apart from the drawing, I had very little experience in like presenting, writing scripts, editing. I had to learn all of that stuff. And just that whole thing of like kind of learning and kind of slowly getting good and figuring stuff out. I find that's like really, really, really rewarding, because I used to work in an office job, and not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, it was fine. I enjoyed it, but there's kind of, I don't know, there's just something about being able to see, your improvement, and being able to get, you put up a video, you put a lot of work into it or whatever, and you kind of get the views back. There's such a direct and kind of concrete kind of results that you can see, and you can kind of track your progress. I just think it's just really rewarding.
Yeah. So I come my background is largely in athletics. We've been creating now, I guess, for 8 years on top of that. But there's always this discussion on, hey, is this a genetic talent that you're just gifted with, or is this developed? And obviously there's a little bit of both. But do you feel like there's something about you that makes you, able to be a full-time creator, or is it the reps that you've gotten, the practice you've built, and you've honed this skill largely? It's the work you've put in, right?
Yeah, it's definitely. I would say I was definitely not a natural talent at this. I remember when I was first, write the script and everything, and read it out for the audio. That was terrible. Even I wasn't even on camera. I was just like, behind the microphone and trying to read it out. Something about like just kind of doing a presentation voice and just speaking and just reading this out in like a room by yourself just felt very awkward to me. It's definitely a, something that I had to learn, because it would take me hours to read a script for like a 3-minute video. Really, like hours. It was terrible to edit. And I'm still getting better. I'm still, I still wouldn't say like, yeah, I'm good at this. I'm just better than I was, but it's still like a journey. So it'll probably never be over. There'll probably never be a point where I'm like, okay, I'm happy with this.
At what point did you decide I'm going to do this full time?
It's coming up on 3 years ago now. So I used to work in this office job. It was IT, kind of finance. The money was good, but the hours sucked. So it was like 10 hours in the office, plus the time I had to like take, commuting there and then commuting back. And 10 hours was the minimum. Like if it was a bad day, like you could be in there for like 13 hours. It was crazy. So I had very little time to do my YouTube. Now, my YouTube at that point had amassed somewhere between 100,000 and 200,000 subscribers, but I just didn't have the time to make the video, so I just wasn't really making a lot of money off of that. But I thought, maybe if I had more time, if I could if I could do this like full time and put out a video like every week instead of every month or every 2 months, maybe I could, boost the subscribers, make enough money to support myself. And I took a massive risk and I quit my job. And I had a great role in that job. I was making like good money, especially for my age. I was like 22 or 23. I was going to be like a team lead. I had a great role. Everything was good. And I just like, I'll just throw this all away. Took a big risk. And I thought I had like maybe a year's worth of savings to kind of coast on while I try and make YouTube work. And if that failed, then I'd just be back to, having no job, just back to square one, basically. Within a few months, it was profitable and has remained so ever since. 3 years later.
It's so crazy. Fun. It's crazy. It's so fun to hear you reflect on your story and me be reminded of like, man, that first time we press publish, and it's a big step, now looking back on what that journey and path led to, where we're doing this day in and day out, we're in front of the camera like 5 hours a day, right? This is what we do. It started with that first time we published a video. And then it's like, when I decided that the NFL was going to be, my backup plan and YouTube was going to be my main gig, it's like, just when you fully commit, it's so exciting. And also here we are at the precipice of potentially another pivotal point in your career. I'm curious, when you think of $1 million investment, what would you do with that $1 million?
Well, I'd probably have to pinch myself or something to make sure that it was real. Then I'd probably have to spend some time alone to maybe cry or something. I don't know. But I've thought a little bit about it. Don't want to think too much about it because I don't want to build myself up for disappointment. But I think the big thing for me would be to buy a house, have a nice kind of house out in the country, no neighbors, and just have like a room dedicated studio. Because right now, I mean, this room that I'm in, this is where I eat, this is where I sleep, this is where I work, this is where like I do everything, and it's a pretty small space. If I want to film, I have to like tear down this and put up the
Yeah.
green screen and put everything up, and then when I'm done, I have to tear it all down. I don't have room for kind of like nice lighting or anything. If I had like a dedicated room that I could say this is my studio, I could have just the green screen up all the time. Wouldn't have to iron it or anything. There'd be no wrinkles in it. I could have nice lighting. I could treat the room with like the foam that's behind you, the sound canceling stuff. Just so many different things. Because right now with the space that I'm in, a lot of times I'll put in like so much work into making a video where I'm like, I think this video has a lot of potential. And I put in like a lot of work writing the script and recording it and everything, just trying to make it like really great. And then I import it into the computer and I look at it and I listen to it and I'm like, okay, well, this is terrible. So all that effort just kind of, it's almost like having like a glass ceiling, when you're just kind of limited by your equipment and your space and everything. So it would be nice to just to kind of come to a point where the only reason anything is bad or messed up or anything is because it's my fault, and I just have to learn how to improve that. Because then you can kind of, the progression is opened back up again. Whereas now I feel like I'm a little bit kind of tied down a bit.
I'm curious, when you choose to do a video, a story on a subject, is there like a common theme that each of your videos done? I know you've done some on art, some on athletics, some on, business. What inspires you to say, I want to make a video on that?
I guess the only thing that I would say any of the topics have in common is that they're interesting to me. That's why sometimes I have like some real oddball videos just about like the silliest thing. Like I did one on, we have obviously the currency here is the euro. There's a €2 coin that has a stick man drawn on the back. Like that's the official mint of the coin. That was always really, really interesting to me, that this like really crudely drawn emblem was on the back of like one of the, the foremost currencies of the world. It's kind of an uncommon coin, but anytime I find one, I get change back from the cashier and I look at it, I'm like, okay, I'm keeping that. And I have like a collection of like, I don't know how many of them. Had to do a video on that. Nobody suggested it or anything. It was just something from my life that I thought was really interesting and I wanted to show other people. That's kind of the big thing, is like something that's really interesting to me and that like I kind of get a bit of joy or something. It's just like telling other people about.
Yeah. How cool is it that you have hundreds of thousands of other people who share this collective bag of like interests? But I'm curious, on the note of community, what are some stories that you've heard from your followers, your fans, your community, of how your videos have impacted them in whatever sense?
Oh, it's crazy, because I always kind of think, I'm just a YouTuber, and that's the way that I still think. But, I just make these videos for kind of, entertainment, and they're not even like particularly original or anything. I'm just telling a story that I heard somewhere else or whatever. But sometimes, you'll get an email or a comment or something that somebody, they really, really love your videos, and something has happened in their life recently that's, a source of, it's very upsetting. And just to get like these kind of comments like that, where they say that my videos like really helped them to take their mind off it, or just like to kind of get through it or whatever, which I kind of didn't really think was possible. And even still now, I don't really think is possible, because I'm like, I just make stupid videos, in my bedroom here in Ireland, and, for years. And just to think of the reach and the potential, I guess, the impact that you can have that one person can have is crazy.
Well, it's a responsibility, and I think it's one that we should all spend more time thinking about and cultivating. But I'm curious, as you sit there, having done, YouTube full time for now 3 years. What would you say to someone who's just starting out and they're thinking, I want to do that, but I'm scared, or I don't know how to, or what would your advice be to them?
You bet the best advice that I would have, whether it be YouTube or for anything, is just do it. Just do it. Don't really spend too much time overthinking it or planning it, because if you're doing it for the first time, it's going to suck anyway.
True.
The way it is, you know, you have to suck. You have to be bad. You just have to create or train or practice or whatever it is that that you're getting into. You just have to get the bad out of you. You have to exercise it. It's in you when you first begin something. You can't help that. The only thing you can do is get rid of it. The only way you can get rid of it is by doing it. And eventually you'll be good at it. So just do it.
That is profound. Thank you. Thank you for that wisdom, man. I'd never heard it described like that, and I wholeheartedly agree. Man, I'm so excited for what's next for you. Investment of $1 million or not. Congratulations on making it this far in CreatorDAO's The Search Challenge, and look forward to seeing what's next for you.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.